Hello everyone, as you can see I'm filming on my phone today because my camera is being strange. Today I'm in Crabtree near Huonville, and I'm going to be doing a hike which I've done before. It was one of my earlier videos about 3.5-ish years ago, where I went up to Willies Falls, which is up the Jeffreys track and then off the track a bit. Today I'm going back to Willies Falls, but I'm also planning on exploring some waterfalls that I found on list maps that are a bit upstream of it. So yeah, due for a revisit to Willies Falls, which is a pretty good waterfall, and also these other falls I haven't been to before. There's been some rain, so the river, or the creek, should be flowing pretty well. I'm about to go across it now. Yeah, not looking too bad. So there should be a reasonable flow of water in the falls. Just got to go up that way. A pretty fair old climb up, as you can see. Well, I'm still climbing up, just getting towards the edge of these paddocks. I thought it'd be worth mentioning, as you can see, the road's getting a bit more rough now. But if you don't have like a four-wheel drive that you're pretty happy taking onto them dodgy roads, you got to really park at the turn off onto the Jeffreys track, because there hasn't been anywhere to really pull over, and it's pretty narrow, this road. So if you come up and then you sort of decide you can't go any further, it's a bit of a tough gig to turn around. As you can see, it's getting really, really rocky up ahead. No way I'd be comfortable taking my Forester up here. You climb a really, really long way the first part of this hike. It's 1.8 k's from the bridge where I parked to the turn off when you go off the track towards the falls, and in that 1.8 k you climb about 260 meters, so it's quite a lot of vertical. I'm most of the way up there now though. Okay, so I've reached the point on the map where a four-wheel drive track is marked heading off to the left. This is sort of where I am. So there's a big pull out just over there. It shows a four-wheel drive track going to the left, but it's, you know, not like the most obvious track or anything. You wouldn't really, I mean, you couldn't drive it, obviously. I might insert like a screenshot to show you where this point is, but basically I have to hike along this track for a while, and then I'll duck off it. I suppose it's actually been cleared since I was last here. I'm not sure if it will be shown in my old video, but I feel like when I walked along here a few years ago, you actually had to bush bash your way through this, but like it's an obvious track. Anyway, I'll probably see you at the point where I leave the trail. So I'm only about 5 minutes further on, but I've reached the point where I'm going to leave this track and head basically straight into the forest. There's no like right or wrong place to do this, but just sort of look for a reasonably open section, and then I'm pretty much making a straight line down to the falls at what I think is about the point of shortest distance from the track. But like obviously there's not really any queues in here, although this, you know, it's reasonably open, but there's not really any visual clues as to where you're meant to be going, so you need to have your GPS and know where you are going, or else you can just head off totally the wrong direction. So I'm just sort of starting to the proper descent down to the creek. I'm a little further south from where I wanted to be. I wanted to be more over that way, so I into the creek further upstream, but there's quite a bit of cutting grass over there. It looks pretty scrubby. This side, well, it's not heaps better, but it is slightly better. It's not horrifically difficult to get through. But I think as you get close to the creek it gets a bit rougher. So I might see you down there, I reckon. Well, after about 20 minutes or so of off-track hiking, which wasn't incredibly difficult by the standards of off-track hiking, I've just come down that little steep bank. I'm standing in the middle of Crabtree Rivulet. I'm about 100-200 metres upstream of Willies Falls, and about 100-200 metres downstream of what I'm going to call Crabtree Rivulet Falls. I'm going to end up just hiking straight upstream to those other upper waterfalls, and then I'll come back down to the lower ones. So we'll see how we go. It doesn't look incredibly difficult, this creek hiking, at least not for a short distance, but we'll see how we go. Well, my hopes of having a nice easy stream bed to walk through aren't looking too promising. Absolutely choked up with logs and pools and various things that make it extremely difficult to go further. I'm going to keep pushing on. It's not very far, but yeah, this is much harder than any other part of the hike, this creek bit. I'm passing what might be the first of the 3 waterfalls shown on the hillshade layer on this map that I was looking for. This one's a bit underwhelming. I'll be able to get down there for a better view, but I might on the way back, because it's not like anything that really calls out for me to photograph it. But hopefully the other 2 falls are better. So I think I'm now actually at the first of the falls I was expecting to find. It could also be the second, I'm not really sure. It's not a bad sized drop, it's probably about 15 metres high. Part of it sort of is just out of view from here. But obviously it's completely choked up with logs, which means it's not that visually appealing and it's pretty much impossible to photograph. But from just back there, there's a nice pool as well. So from just back there, I can see the piers higher up. So I'll be able to go up there pretty soon, and they should be more impressive, I think. Well, I've reached the second waterfall on Crabtree Rivulet. It's pretty impressive, about 15 metres high or so, and more of a bit of a steeper plunge than the first one without so many logs in the way as well. Here it is. I'm going to try and scramble up that side to get to the third fall. I reckon the third one will be the biggest one, so I'll definitely want to get up there. And the top of the first falls are just that way, so there's only about maybe 20 metres between the 2. So I think this could be the very top cascade. I'll go up and have a look around the corner there. Yeah, you can see down to what might end up being like the top main falls, and then just beyond that the next one. It's nice enough, although again it's not quite what I was hoping. Well, I'm pretty much certain now that I'm at the top of the whole complex. It definitely doesn't look like there's anything through there. So the other falls wasn't really what I was expecting or hoping for, but the whole series of falls is pretty nice. I've probably got my lower, middle and upper a bit mixed up over the way, but you know, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to head down to Willies Falls now, so I reckon I might see you when I get past the point that I initially hit the creek, and show you a bit of the more downstream scenery on the way to Willies Falls, which is much bigger and better than any of these ones, although these have certainly been worth visiting. Not that I'll be coming back most likely though. So I've reached this pretty little waterfall that last time I was here I named Upper Willies Falls. I'm unfortunately looking directly against the sun, which isn't ideal. So I'm not going to bother taking any like proper photos because I just look garbage here. So it is a really nice little spot with a really good pool on top. And look at Willies Falls proper, only maybe 50 metres downstream that way. Just sort of round the corner a bit. So I've reached the base of Willies Falls and it's a really nice spot. The unfortunate thing is that when I was last here, this log at the base of it was really nice for photos, but if I show you it now, it's sort of gone from being a nice foreground and in a photo composition to sort of being just a pile of logs. But the falls are still nice. Really unusual sort of shape, kind of this like narrow sort of chute almost. I'm going to try and scramble up that a ways as well to get some different sort of views from the big scree slope there. But yeah, this is Willies Falls, impressive. I didn't notice this last time I was here, but there's actually this really old car that somehow found its way down here. Way up the top of that hill, we're talking a couple hundred metres probably, there's actually a road. So I reckon that probably about, well, I don't know, maybe 50 years ago it looks almost like, someone managed to toss a car off the top of that hill and it's rolled down here. Which is actually pretty extraordinary really, because that is a long way up. It's a good view from up here actually. You can see kind of the upper stretches of the falls a bit better. I'm looking against the sun, which isn't ideal though. So yeah, that's where I came down that hill. And then sort of off that way a little bit. So I'm back on the main road now, just hit it, and I figure I may as well conclude the video here. It is a good walk. Willies Falls is a really nice waterfall, and by the standards of off-track hiking, it's not actually that difficult of a walk. Just a bit steep towards the end, a little bit of scrub bashing, but not really much. It's pretty open. Crabtree Rivulet Falls is a bit of a different story. The hike up the creek's pretty rough, and then to climb up to the higher tiers you have to basically scale the side of the falls, which is a pretty dicey exercise. But I'm glad to have done it once. Willies Falls is by far the best of the waterfalls on the creek. So if you were coming here, I'd recommend just doing that one, unless you're really keen. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching everyone.